If you're feeling stuck in your business, if you feel like you are not creating the revenue and profit being almost more important, right? That you really want to be making in your business, what is it? What's holding you back? Where are you scared? Where is your nervous system telling you this is not going to be safe? Stop. Hello, amazing humans, and welcome to episode number 295 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. You're ready to make more money, aren't you? I know. And you're told when you want to do this that you've got to niche down. You've got to market. You've got a brand. And you're really smart. You know you want to make more money. You probably have, there's so many people I work with, I know this, right? You have like a stack of certifications. It's like a stack of pancakes on your desk. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just there hanging out. And still, even with your smarts, your experience, and all of these certifications, something's stalling. Something's happening where you're not popping through to the level that you know you need to. And I'm here to tell you, it's not about marketing. It's not about just your strategy. And it's not just about your brand or your face or your voice. There's something else going on. And it's about how safe you actually feel. This is about the inside work that, quite frankly, most business owners miss. It's very easy to miss. With all the entrepreneur porn out there in our world and all the people telling us the 3 simple steps to get everything done, right? Like, sure, right? All of those things, there's still something happening. And you will only earn at the speed of safety. Safety comes first, increased profits come second. This is about the messy, the becoming, the incredible journey that's in front of you as a business owner. Let's talk about where you start. Pop in those earphones and let's get to it. All right, so we are here to talk about how you can make more money in your business, what's going on with profitability, and if you feel stuck. Yeah, this is like, I know, a really important topic for so many. Of course, we're in these businesses to make money, duh, right? But we really want to help people. We really love what we do. We know we were given our gifts and talents and ideas and desires for a reason. We're not here just to like give those away for free and hate our day jobs. That's not what we're here to do, right? Like we know this instinctually. And then we study and we're smart and we do all the things, but something keeps pulling us back, right? This is something you hear from coaches all the time, which is like, do you feel stuck? And you're like, yes, but shut up and just give me a strategy, right? Like it's so the desire to do that. And, you know, recently I got to contribute to a summit. It was so beautiful. And I got to show up and talk about our relationship to money and to abundance and what's really happening for us internally. And then I had the privilege of coaching some of the participants. It was so fun and so exciting. And as I was working with these incredible humans, I realized there was absolutely something consistent between all of them. And it was this lack of self-trust, which you hear me talk about, right? But it's so critical that you hear what I'm saying. When we talk about self-trust, right? It's the question is, will I actually be safe when I'm seen? Will I be safe when I hit a certain level of success? Is it safe for me to grow to the depths and expansion that I actually want to grow? We talked about that actually in episode 294 as well, what keeps most business owners from scaling. And these 2 episodes are back to back for a reason, because you can have the strategy. The strategy is brilliant. Please get it, find it out. Oh my God. But if you do not feel safe earning more, you will not. You will not. And I just, you know, when working with one of these women, it was such a beautiful story. This person had, you know, just absolutely studied. She had 3 or 4 degrees, like college level. One was medical degrees. Like we are talking, oh my God, super qualified human, right? Like this is not somebody who was on planet Earth to like eat bonbons on the couch, right? And could not get started when it came to actually selling for her own business. Just kept stalling. And as we were talking, we got to understand more about why she wanted me to be the coach that got to work with her. And she said, you know, she was raised in extreme poverty. And it was so normal for her to be worried that the walls were literally going to collapse in her home. That was a normal state for her. Is it safe to sleep? Am I going to wake up tomorrow and still have this home? Where is the next meal coming from? Now, you don't have to go through something that intense to have those kinds of traumatic moments sink in. You know what I'm saying? It could be that one time in school in the first grade when somebody made fun of your lunch sandwich and it knocked you into a platform of like, I'm not safe. No one can see what I eat. You know what I mean? Like these moments happen to us. If you are alive and you are a human being today, you cannot escape them. They will happen to you. And somehow we've gotten into this crazy idea that working on those or healing those is fluffy. No, that's the access point. That's the doorway. That is the moment you start to take back your entire life. But you have to have the courage to find those moments. And so once we started talking about that, and she started exploring more about why she loved to learn, because it was safe to learn, that was safe because she would leave the home she wasn't sure about was safe and go to school to learn. And there she was safe. So learning became safe. So that's what she's done. Does this not make sense? Isn't that beautiful? It's like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Like, yes, of course, of course. So for you, I want to ask you if you're feeling stuck in your business, if you feel like you are not creating the revenue and profit being almost more important, right? That you really want to be making in your business, what is it? What's holding you back? Where are you scared? Where is your nervous system telling you this is not going to be safe? Stop. Because it is. And you guys, this work is so important because you will only earn at the speed of safety. You guys, this is why people who win the lottery lose it. Because it's not safe. It's not safe to have that money around. There's not an internal growth mechanism that's been expanded to hold the wealth. And so they lose it. Very understandable, right? You can see the patterns. It makes sense. But then when it comes to your life, where you don't really see it, right? You're like, what? Me? No, I'm great, right? And we all do this, by the way. I've done it as well. The first 5 years of me running this business were so challenging for me. So challenging. Am I good enough? Can I charge? Do I trust myself to charge this much? Do other people trust me? Right? Those questions must be asked and they must be answered. And when the answer is no, you need to do the work to figure out how to turn it into a yes. And a lot of it is usually around healing. Now, this is why, by the way, people have said, oh my God, you guys have been so great and so excited about the fact that I've hired a nervous system coach for the people in the Abundance Academy, and I've hired a human design coach for people in the Abundance Academy. This is why. Because I know you can be working on yourself inside of abundance. And then if it's not safe, even though you get it intellectually, you must feel it in order to go out and trust your voice enough to say, this is who I am. This is what I do. These are the gifts I've been given. This is what it costs. And you can't do that if you don't feel safe. There's no way around this. This is not woo-woo. Psychologists, scientists, people who study this for a living will all tell you, I'm telling you the truth right now. And it's time for you to understand this is actually what's been holding you back. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not like behind. That's not a thing. But what's happening is your nervous system will first and foremost keep you safe. All right, so let's talk about what this actually looks like inside your business. Yeah. So another person I got to coach, incredible human, really helping people with their relationship to food and understanding nutrition and staying super healthy, which boy, do we need that, right? So good. And she was like, I don't know, I just can't seem to have traction. But I know I need to rebuild my website. And I know I probably need different colors. And maybe I just need a good tagline. And this woman is so brilliant, right? I was like, yeah, maybe, sure. Those things are needed 100%. But we need to have you feel safe selling before you start building a brand. And she said, yeah, I just don't know how to help people. Like they'll show up for one meeting and then they won't show up for the second, right? It's like, well, because they don't feel safe. You haven't created a container for them to come in and feel safe and know that you're going to take care of them. And there's another issue with coaches, right? We have to really dive into this, right? Because for coaches, in order for you to be successful as a coach, you alter human behavior. That's what coaches do, right? We don't have to do the human behavior. We have to coach that person through the human behavior, right? And the example I use for coaches who are so nervous to coach is like, you don't have to know how to physically, I don't know, work on the bars, the uneven bars in gymnastics to coach someone to do it well. Have you ever seen the coaches, like gymnast coaches? We love you. Thank you for everything you do. But they're usually out of shape. They're usually older. A lot of times they're men when they're coaching female bodies, right? It's like, what? Because they know how to get that person to change that behavior in order to get the result. That's what coaches do. Right. And that actually just stating that can alleviate so many coaches from this pressure of like, but I have to be perfect. It's like, no, please share where you're not. Like, no, you're a person. Like, if you act like you're perfect, people get freaked out because who the hell's perfect? Right. But so there's that first piece. But the second piece is you have to like actually build a container to work with people so those results happen. Right. You can't just show up and say, do 15 jumping jacks because I read that somewhere and then have people be great on the uneven bar. That's not how that works. You have to actually create a container where you walk someone through a process, right? So that's what we did on the phone call with her. I said, you're not safe selling because you don't know what the container is. And by container, I just mean, what are you selling? What's the product? What is this thing? And she was like, oh, well, maybe it looks like 6 sessions. There you go. And how much would those 6 sessions cost? Good. And are you sure 6 sessions is enough? And she was like, yeah, it is. 6 sessions is enough. I can do that. That's going to work because I can break through the part that they think they need, which is the tips and tricks. But then the magic happens. I said, oh, let me guess, in the internal fears and where they're stuck. And she started laughing so hard because we can understand we all want the tips and tricks. We all do. They're not working anymore. And you know it. You know you are beyond the tips and tricks. You know it's time to go deeper and understand where you are not safe to earn more because that is why you're not earning more. And in order to get into that, it takes courage for sure, 100%. But courage is just the first step. It's like the portal that opens up safety, courage. That's really what it's about. And this idea that you're not ready, that can really, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. So you can take the client I spoke about first, right? Who felt like she had to keep learning because that was the only way she could stay safe. Yeah. And for a lot of people, I'm not ready looks a lot like you aren't enough when you were younger, or not a lot like you didn't do that right when you were younger. And so you're living inside this massive fear of I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, when you are. But your nervous system will stop you. Your subconscious will stop you until you have done the inner work to feel safe earning. You've done the inner work to trust yourself, to actually go out there and make good on what you're selling, and that you will keep yourself safe as you earn more, as you are seen more in this crazy world, right? That you are going to be okay, that you can trust you to get you through this and get you through to the next side. And this may sound self-serving, but it's also 100% accurate. You need a coach to do that. You need someone by your side who is 100% ready for your success, even when you're not sure you are. You need someone who can look at that and go, whoa, did you see what you just did? Because chances are you can't. You can't see what you just did because it's what you've always done. And as a coach, what I love to teach is if you want something you've never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done. So healing is absolutely necessary on this journey. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about. There were 2 other women I got to work with, and both of them were convinced that they were too weird, right? Their stories, their expertise, their experiences were just too freaking weird, right? For them to be able to create businesses out of them. And by the end of the coaching conversations, they were both very clear that that was not accurate. So if you are in that camp, if you are thinking, my talents are so strange. I can juggle really, really well. I can make people laugh. Or maybe you organize closets really well. You're like, I don't know how this turns into a business, Walton. And I get that. I could totally understand that. I mean, we look at me, right? I wanted to be a stand-up comic and I always wanted to be a teacher. So I hope you find me funny. Maybe you don't, but that's what I did to combine this, right? I love to learn. I love to study. I had my own trials, right? Being raised in extreme poverty, being a child, a young girl who was sexually abused often, right? Like really understanding my body, understanding boundaries, understanding fear, understanding receiving and love and generosity. And all of that gets poured into my business, right? All of those experiences come together to actually form something. And then we love to talk about my client, Tasha Blasi, right? Go check her out. She's an IVF expert and she has a 100% success rate in getting women who are going through IVF pregnant. What? Yeah. And she came to me and she said, I think I want to organize people's closets. You guys, she's gorgeous. She's funny as hell. And she was great on camera. So she started making videos and she's got an incredible business. She's since retired her husband and moved across the country. You guys, you really can use your experiences. Here's what I want you to understand. So I spoke to one woman who is a wheat farmer. She's like, I want to do a blog or a podcast and help people understand how nature and the planet actually is providing everything we need. I was riveted, right? And she goes into the details of her story. And I'm like, have you ever like made anybody like emotional when you share these stories? She goes, yeah, all the time. I'm like, it's already valuable. It's already valuable. Moving someone emotionally is so valuable on this planet right now that of course you can charge for it. Don't we all pay to go see movies? Right? Doesn't a piece of music, like if you ever go and see music perform live, do you just like how many people are moved to tears? We value that so much, especially in a world where we're all doom scrolling and sitting on our phones and there's no connection. If you can move someone with your story, you're already in there. And then the other woman I worked with who was too worried she was too weird, right? She was like, I don't think I can do this, right? Was that she was an actor. I love this. She loved teaching acting. She was also a therapist. And it was like, oh my gosh, she's like, I just want to help all these little kids who don't understand how to use their bodies to help process emotions. I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, I love just going in and making them laugh through my acting. And I was like, then go do that. Start there. And she got so excited because she actually got to get into action using her gifts and talents and not waiting for some esoteric branding god to tell her it was okay now. She'd done enough with her colors to be able to go serve. What? No, if you are moving people, if your story, if your experience, if your gifts have already caused someone else to have a moving experience, the value is already there. And your healing comes in when you start to trust that that's real. And until you do that, you're going to be caught up in this loop of let me fix my homepage, let me do my about page, let me go get new colors, let me get a new tagline. While those things are important, of course they are, you're running a business. That is nothing compared to someone's experience of who you are. And in order for someone to experience who you really are, you must feel safe being seen for who you really are. That is the work. That is where you make more money. That is where your mission and your gifts get out into the world, is your level of safety and nowhere else. I know that doesn't seem true sometimes. I promise you, if you've not yet made money in your business or you've hit a plateau and you're not scaling the way that we talked about in episode 294, it's safety. That's the issue, is your degree of safety. Now, if you have been moved by this podcast episode, I want you to do two things. One, could you please DM me and let me know? I want to know that you're starting to understand that safety has been holding you back, because that is so valuable, and you sharing that with someone else will make a big, big difference. Second, if you have anyone in your life that you know is feeling stuck, I want you to share this episode with them. That's what this podcast is for. We are here to make a difference for you in your life. We are here to help you make the most of this one beautiful, messy, sometimes feeling unsafe, crazy, love-filled life that you have. You only get this one. It's your time to feel safe enough to enjoy it on every level in which you feel safe to enjoy. Yeah? Okay. So finally, if you know you're ready, you're like, oh my God, that's my coach. I want you to apply to come and be in the Abundance Academy with us. We are doing amazing things. Amazing things are happening in that course. And like I said, you get me as a coach, you have a nervous system coach, and you get a human design coach. There is no other program out there like this. This is not like, let me sign up once and never talk to Sarah again. This is so high touch. This is so real. This is so healing that if you know safety has been the gate that has been locked to your own abundance, to your own financial success, to your own growth inside of your business and in sharing your gifts, now's the time. You did not get to this podcast episode accidentally. I'll catch you in the next episode.